Hi everyone, today we'll be talking about supporting working memory, how explicit and systematic instructions help students learn. This is for SPE222, Teaching Exceptionally Students. So an introduction, my name is Faith Harshman and I'm an elementary education major. I went to teach around 3rd through 5th grade and I think that this will really help me get a feel for how to teach students. The article I chose is Supporting Working Memory Through Explicit and Systematic Instructions by these authors. And I chose this article because I'm interested in how teaching practices can reduce barriers for students with disabilities and promote equitable learning for all, or fair learning for all. So a summary of the article would be: working memory is a limited but critical cognitive skill needed for tasks like problem solving, following directions, and reading comprehension. Students with learning disabilities often struggle with working memory, which can block learning. Explicit and systematic instruction reduces cognitive overload and supports student success. And then that is just the works cited at the bottom. The article emphasizes that the explicit and systematic instructions help reduce cognitive overload by making lessons clear, structured, and observable. Teachers can help all students, especially those with weaker working memory, succeed. The goal is to make learning progress more manageable and less stressful. So the first key practice I want to talk about is strategical sequence skills, which is preventing overload and confusion. Teachers should introduce skills from simpler to complex or from easier to harder. This prevents students from becoming overwhelmed and ensure that they master foundational skills moving on. So the next one I want to talk about, or the next key practice I want to talk about, is using clear explanations and modeling. This keeps instructions simple and consistent. So teachers should be using these to help students understand tasks without overloading their working memory. For example, a teacher might think aloud while solving problems so students can see each step super clearly. So text-to-world connection. For number one, this information will help me promote inclusion by understanding the different needs of students and how their brains work. It'll help me to be able to modify the content to fit their needs. Depending on what any student needs, it's definitely super important to be able to rewrite or redo your work to help fit all their needs, especially their learning needs. And for number two, I answered, teaching practices should be evidence-based and inclusive to ensure all students can learn effectively. Evidence-based methods improve outcome, while inclusive strategies provide fair access and support for diverse learners, including those with disabilities. It's always super important to stay fair and to promote learning effectivity. By doing this, we need to stay evidence-based. And yeah, so text to self connections. For number one, I answered, learning about instructions has changed how I see students with disabilities. I realize that struggles often come from invisible challenges like working memory limits, not effort or ability. With the right support and clear teaching, all students can succeed, which makes me think more about creating inclusive classrooms. For number two, I answered, the information relates to my experience in school for my career, as I want to be an elementary school teacher. These problems are going to come up and I need to be prepared to understand and help all different types of students, especially those with disabilities or things that might limit their learning abilities. For number three, I answered, I can be more inclusive and culturally responsible in my career by staying educated in topics such as these and constantly working to improve my understanding while teaching to help students. So this is just about modifying content and making sure that I'm staying up to date about all students' needs overall. And for the last text-to-text connection, I put the article by these authors, connects to our textbook, McCleasy et al. 2017, by emphasizing the explicit systematic instructions and scaffold supports for students with disabilities. Both sources show that teaching, cognitive strategies, modeling, and gradually reducing support help students manage working memory, engage in learning, and succeed in inclusive classrooms. And then this is just my works cited, which is the textbook article, and then the article that I chose, which is facilitating working memory through explicit and systematic instructions, teaching exceptional children. So thank you so much for listening to my little lesson, and I hope you learned something. Thank you.